Welcome to This Explainer. How often do we feel totally stuck in life, just waiting around for some external lucky break? Well, today, we're unpacking a truly fascinating story from our source material about a beggar who completely flipped his reality upside down. And spoiler alert, he didn't do it with a winning lottery ticket or some magic trick. It was all about a radical, profound shift in his own mind. It's a deep dive into the psychology of success, and trust me, it might just shatter how you view your own circumstances. So, this brings us to a huge, fundamental question. Can a simple shift in mindset actually change your life? We always wonder, right? Is our destiny permanently locked in by our bank account, our job title, the background we come from? Or could a simple internal shift in how we think actually rewrite our entire future? Can changing how you perceive yourself literally alter the physical reality of the world around you? The story we're diving into today answers this beautifully. It shows us exactly how the internal dictates the external. Part 1. The Story of a Beggar. Our source material takes us to a noisy, crowded city railway station. There's this man living there, and his whole existence is defined by one thing: asking. Day in and day out, he begs passengers for spare change, totally convinced he has absolutely nothing of value to offer the world. His whole identity is wrapped up in being a passive recipient of whatever pity others might throw his way. But then, the inciting incident happens. This tall, wealthy-looking businessman in a very sharp, expensive suit walks by. The beggar goes right up to him, fully expecting a nice, big handout. But instead, the businessman stops, flat out refuses to give him money for nothing, and asks this deeply cutting question. Do you always just ask? Do you ever give anything to anyone? I am a businessman, and I only believe in give and take. He looked him dead in the eye and basically said, if you have absolutely nothing to give, you have no right to ask. Then he just boarded his train and left, planting this massive, uncomfortable seed of doubt in the beggar's mind.
Part 2. The Law of Exchange.
Okay, let's dive into this. That wealthy man? He wasn't just being cruel or dismissive to a guy down on his luck. He was actually introducing a massive, universal principle of nature and commerce. The law of exchange, or give and take, basically dictates that creating value is an absolute prerequisite for receiving value. You only get something when you offer something of equal or greater value in return. It is literally the engine that drives every economy, every relationship, and every successful venture. So, sitting there alone at the station, letting those harsh words sink in, the beggar realized a really tough truth. The reason he was getting so little from the world was because he was providing absolutely nothing to it in exchange. He was operating completely outside the universal law of value. Part 3. The Beginning of Change. So the beggar wrestles with this concept for 2 whole days. He's pacing the station, losing sleep over the businessman's challenge, thinking, look, I'm just a beggar. What could I possibly offer? I have no money, no goods, no skills. But on the 3rd day, it hits him. He spots this resource sitting right in front of him, beautiful wildflowers blooming on the bushes just outside the station, and he immediately puts a brand new strategy into play based on that law of exchange. Step 1, he fully accepted that he needed to give something in return. He made the conscious choice to stop being passive. Step 2, he went out and carefully gathered those blooming wildflowers. Step 3, a total shift in approach. Now, whenever someone gave him money, he handed them flowers in return. He offered something beautiful for their coins. And step 4, he watched exactly what happened. People were genuinely happy, not pitying him, but actually smiling to receive the flowers. He noticed this undeniable pattern. As long as he gave flowers, people eagerly handed over money. When he ran out of flowers, the money stopped entirely. The law of exchange was real, and he was finally participating in it. Fast forward a few days, he's back at the station doing his new routine, and guess who steps onto the platform to catch a train? The exact same tall businessman. The beggar rushes up to him, but his whole vibe is different now. He isn't slouched over, his hand isn't just sticking out in a plea. He says, today I have some flowers to give you. Give me some money and I will give you flowers. Well, the businessman stops in his tracks, clearly surprised by this shift in demeanor. He happily pays the man, takes the fresh flowers, and makes this profound observation. He looks at the man with genuine respect and says, wow, this is great. Today, you have become a businessman just like me.
Part 4. New Mindset, New Person.
The businessman heads off, but those parting words, they completely shattered the beggar's old identity. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate psychological breakthrough. Just think about the stark contrast in how he used to view himself versus how he saw himself in that exact moment. Before, he was stuck in a beggar mindset,
feeling small, inferior, completely chained to his circumstances, believing his only option was to ask for handouts. He saw himself as a burden. But in an instant, he transitioned into a business mindset. He started focusing on providing value, standing tall, and operating with actual self-respect. It hit him like a ton of bricks. People weren't throwing him change out of pity anymore. They were paying for his fresh, beautiful flowers. He was offering them a moment of joy for their commute. He wasn't begging. He was trading. In this pure, euphoric moment of realization, the weight of his entire past just lifted right off his shoulders. He literally jumped off the train car, looked up at the sky, and shouted for everyone on the platform to hear, "I am not a beggar. I am a businessman. I can be rich too." The people around the station just stared at him in shock, probably whispering that he'd completely lost his mind. But he hadn't lost it. Actually, for the very first time in his life, he had finally found it. He had unlocked his inherent self-worth. And the very next day, he completely disappeared from the railway station.
Which brings us to a highly compelling question. What on earth happened 6 months later? I mean, what became of the crazy man shouting at the sky who vanished from the station entirely? Did he just move to a different street corner? Did he throw in the towel when the wildflowers wilted? Well, here is the climax of our source story. Exactly 6 months later, two well-dressed men in sharp, tailored suits run into each other in a first-class train cabin. Yep, it's the tall businessman and the former beggar. His scaling process was basically a masterclass in action. 6 months prior, he was at the absolute bottom, selling wildflowers picked from the dirt near the tracks. But in the months between, he took those modest earnings, bought flowers in bulk from local markets, and built a proper supply chain. He kept reinvesting his money, expanding his offerings, and growing his enterprise day by day. And today? Today, they are standing face to face as absolute equals. The former beggar is a massive wholesale flower trader traveling to another city to close a highly lucrative business deal.
Part 5, The Secret of Success.
All right, let's extract the core actionable takeaways from this incredible psychological transformation so we can actually apply them to our own obstacles. First off, you absolutely must embrace the law of give and take. It is exactly how the world's most successful people operate. Value creation always comes before the reward. You just cannot expect the world to hand you anything if you aren't figuring out a way to serve it first. Second, think big about yourself. If you view yourself as small, your actions, your ambitions, and your results are going to stay small. You will act out the identity you give yourself for sure. Third, awaken your self-respect. Demand more of yourself by giving more to others. When you take pride in what you offer, the world recognizes that value. And finally, remember that success is quite literally hidden in your mindset. If you're feeling stuck in life right now, spinning your wheels, feeling like a victim of your circumstances, you have to change how you view your own worth before your external world will ever budge. I want to leave you with this provocative final question to chew on today. Are you begging for success, or are you creating value for it? Are you just asking the universe for a handout, or are you out there finding the wildflowers in your own life to offer up? Because the second you stop just asking and start giving, your entire reality will shift. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks a brand new mindset for you today.